My name is Lucas Lane. I flew out to New York City a few days ago, and I was mainly, the main event, I was doing a speech for the UN, a poem. Basically, a group of very talented young artists and I were flown out to New York for us to speak our truths at a global summit at the UN, which was incredible. My topic was Article 19 of the Declaration of Human Rights. Basically, it defends freedom of expression and information. I view a world where artists can speak epiphanies and express themselves without fear of being persecuted or not wanting to offend. I want people to be able to fully express themselves freely, because in order to have an intellectually free society, we need to have an intellectually diverse society, which means people of all walks of life expressing all different points of views, watching them come together and watching as the best ideas rise from this stirring of information. Basically, how I got involved in, I think, activism through my videography was I started out at the Women's March. That was the first big thing I ever did. A year later, I did video content for March for Our Lives, and this stuff went way more viral. I feel incredibly privileged, if I'm being honest. There are so many really amazing, so many smart, so many talented young people, and I'm one of the very few who will get to speak for, or who had the opportunity to speak for our new generation, Gen Z. I got to speak to world leaders, diplomats. I mean, it was such an incredible opportunity, and I had to make sure not to let it go to waste. Madam President Robinson, yeah, she was very nice. She came up to me after this poem and told me how much she liked it. You know, I'm super Irish myself, so I talked about, you know, my experience being there, and you know, we talked about the troubles between North and South Ireland, and it was a very pleasant conversation. I talked to plenty of other people too who I thought were very inspiring. I learned that I can use what I love to do things that make a difference. You know, you view activism and you view it through a very narrow lens. But for me, I've always been of the mindset that if you want to see change, you can't just talk about it, you have to do shit. You have to take the initiative and build the world you want to see. It's something that I was raised with. So like, but there are so many different people with so many raw talents and gifts that they can add. So it feels good that I can use like what I know, videography, filmmaking, public speaking, poetry, and I can combine these into tools for good. I think that now that this is done, I have to practice what I preach, which means always advocate for freedom of expression, making sure people's voices are heard no matter who they are, celebrating opinions that aren't mine, challenging respectfully opinions I don't agree with, never demonizing people for not sharing similar philosophies to me. I have to be just the right amount of tolerant, the right amount of persistent. Yeah.
For the peace deniers
and violence justifiers,
for those truth quieters
and chaos riders,
let peace be our vision. Stick out your chest.
That's where the protest comes from.
Stand on your feet.
Our steps are the heartbeats of the streets.
Mind of a dreamer.
Heart of a fighter.
Soul of a poet. Alone, we can't change the world.
But we alone can change this world.
Let peace be our vision.